Hello, hello, and welcome to the second half of season 5. I can't believe that we're already halfway through the year. My name is Debbie Heiser. I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money doing what they love without sacrificing what's important to them. I feel an urgency to help people let go of past messaging so that they can lead a lit up life. And with that, I want to again welcome you. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show.
Straight from the corners of my mind is where I find my sanity.
Hello there. Before we get started with this week's episode, I wanted to pop in here just really quickly and offer up to you 2 different ways that you can work with me. I have private clients that I work with throughout the year to help them quantum leap their business, identify what they want their life to look like so that the business becomes a conduit to that versus running their life. And then the second one is a women's mastermind. This is the second one to kick off, and I'm so excited to start this one in 2024. And I believe the retreat is going to be potentially in Belize, but keep an eye out for it. But this is where we get together, again, quantum leap your business, but it's with a group of other really high vibrational, successful business women that want to level up, want to continue to progress in their achievements and in their business. So with that, click away on the website and check out those exciting events. I'd love to either see you as a private client or in the 2024 Women's Mastermind. Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. My name is Debbie Heiser. I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money doing what they love without sacrificing what's important to them. And today I want to talk to you about the universal law of inspired action, because this law is connected to the law of attraction. And ultimately what happens is we feel like the law of attraction doesn't work sometimes, right? We feel like, and let me step back. The law of attraction is like attracts like. So it's also inclusive of the law of vibration. So when we think of the law of vibration, and we're vibrating at a certain frequency because we're all protons and neurons. And so this vibration is occurring. And I like to associate this to, we all have people in our life that when we leave, we feel better after we've left them. And we may have people in our life that after we talk to them or are around them, we feel drained. That's kind of this physical feeling of, I guess, of vibration. And when you think about this idea of when we're vibrating at certain vibrations, we attract what's there. There is that vibration. And then the law of attraction is really around the idea that we will manifest and attract what we desire when we're vibrating at that vibration of belief, right? Like we have to have this belief that it's going to happen. And it's interesting because some friends and I were talking about how it's really easy to believe in some of the smaller things, but when it comes to the big stuff, sometimes we don't always employ what we know, which is the belief and having an evidence bank. My friend Wendy always talks about having an evidence bank. So when things happen to my clients, my friends, people I know, or myself, I put that in a bank account basically that shows me evidence. So when I get to this point where I have disbelief, which lowers my vibration, I can then pull on past experiences of myself or other people to remind myself of these laws. So this law of attraction, and we're manifesting this, and that's where some of the movies that have been put out, I love that they're talking about the law of attraction, like The Secret, and there's a fiction movie that's out that also goes through it. But it's really, it comes in combination with this next law, which is the law of inspired action. And this inspired action is overlooked a lot. And what it basically is saying is that we have to, or we get to take real actionable, inspired steps. And really, we must take inspired, actionable steps, have inspired action. And those steps need to be aligned with what our desire is. A lot of times I see people that don't align with what their true desire is, and therefore they're not taking the steps, or they're taking steps because of fear that is not in alignment with what their aligned steps are. So it's really about also having faith, and faith is about taking the step, not needing to have all 1,000 steps figured out to the end result, but having the steps where you take one step, having faith that the next step is going to occur. So talking about steps, I'm going to take a couple of steps and close my door because I thought I was here by myself. So when we take inspired action, it's really about having faith, having that faith that what we're doing is in alignment with who we are and what we desire. And I'm going to talk about here in a minute about how do we know that. And that taking that first step, knowing that the next step will appear. We have to be open to it, though. How many of you have heard the joke about the man that was drowning? He ends up wherever your faith feels like it ends up. For me, it's God. So it ends up at the pearly gates. And ultimately, he's saying to whomever, I don't understand why you didn't save me. I was drowning out in the middle of the ocean. And they're like, you mean the helicopter we sent and the rowboat we sent and the, this or that? And meaning that he had in his mind, or she, whoever this person the joke was about, like had in their mind this certain expectation, and they were tied to that expectation. And therefore, when the things that were coming to him were what he needed or wanted, he didn't even see it, or he chose not to take it. And that's that idea of this inner knowing and having the faith and being open to what's coming. I have that happen a lot. People will call me, they'll set up connection calls and want to have a conversation about where they want to go and what their desires are. And then fear takes over. And I sometimes say, I come across some people occasionally that they want to transform, but they don't want to change. Now, I attract people that want to change, but I have conversations with people all over the place where they want to transform, but they don't want to change, and they let fear get in the way. And again, it's not judgment. It's about that subconscious messaging that anyone has received, that fear gets in the way. I get afraid too. And it's then uncovering and saying, okay, this is really interesting. Where's this coming from? Because I do feel like when we have fear, we're being invited to lean in, because remember, fear and excitement feel the same to our bodies. We have to make the decision in our mind whether or not we're going to lean in or lean out. And so when we're leaning in, that's a growth edge. I always feel like when I'm nervous about something, I have fear about something, that allows me to know that change is coming, which is the law of rhythm, but that I can lean into that knowing. And this is that deep knowing. And I teach this at Gonzaga, this foresight, this ability to have this intuition that I know for a long time I had shut off because I was in my head. I was in my action doing all the time, my achievement orientation. Those are not bad things. But what I found was those almost became, well, they masked what my deeper intuition, for me, it's the Holy Spirit. Other people, it's that intuition, Jiminy Cricket, whatever it is for you. But that deep knowing about something. And hopefully you all have experienced that at one point in time or another. And I'm going to ask you to think about, and it doesn't have to be, this humongous thing, but I want you to think about a time when your inner self was like, I know I'm not going to walk down down that dark alley. That is not okay. I'm going to take a different direction. Or I knew without a doubt, and it was funny because my then husband and I both woke up at the same time in the middle of the night when we were thinking about moving to North Carolina with the company I worked for. And we both looked at each other and said, what are we doing? We're not supposed to move. So there are different ways that this comes forward, this inner knowing, this intuition, this foresight. And I will tell you, in order to like sometimes re-tap into, now some of you are way tapped in and grounded, but if you're not, I found nature to be really important in this. And I say you need to slow down to speed up, meaning that grounding yourself, making sure that you are connected to whatever it is for you, that you're taking the time to tap in and listen to that inner knowledge, that inner part of who you are. And because I know for me, I get busy occasionally and I get to going on things, I get excited, I'm traveling and doing all of these things. And I have to sometimes be really mindful about staying connected so that I can listen internally. And sometimes those messages come through entertainment. I feel like there's messages all over the place about staying in alignment. One of the things that I say in this class is nothing is random and everything is relevant. It's just a matter of whether or not we choose to see it. So it's about choosing to see what we're hearing. And I remember times where I would be like, oh my gosh, how do I know that this is the right way I'm supposed to go? I don't know if it is. And I'm not sure, like, is the spirit telling me what to do, or is this my own thing? Well, here's what I've come to realize is quit fighting it. Like, I feel like culturally we have been taught that it's not okay to desire. And there's a desire that's been placed on your heart. And then it's about listening to whether or not that's an alignment. You have to understand, though, and you've been hearing me talk about your true identity, you have to understand who you are and what you stand for, meaning what are your values? Now, not in a judgment way of then comparing yourself to other people and saying, I'm better than you, but just who are you? And I'm not saying who are you and what's the meaning of life, but who are you? And when you know that and can stand tall in who you are, then I can't really, it's so hard for me to describe, but it was almost literally like a light switch where then I had this belief and confidence in myself to make decisions, the belief and confidence that I was grounded, I was listening, I was leaning in and moving forward, I was unpacking, unwinding messages that stopped me or that were causing confusion. Because when we're in chaos or confusion, we're not, some people say we're not in heaven, right? Like we're not in that state of alignment with spirit, with Buddha, whatever, right? Like, please don't get caught up in the semantics, but we're not aligned. And so if you're experiencing confusion or chaos, please contact me. Let's talk through that, because that's my drive, is I want to help people get really clear. Like part of what I have is cast your vision. Like I really want to help people get that clarity, because when you get that clarity, know who you are, then when the desires come, you have faith and confidence. So then you have the faith to move forward and attract what you want, but you're also doing inspired action, because opportunity is out there, but it's about having the belief and the faith and the vibration to attract and be open to that, but also take action. I've seen before where some people have the faith, they are vibrating, but then they don't take the action. So when the opportunity is there, the opportunity is lost. I've also seen where people, and I see this more often than not, take all the action and then they're like, wait, why isn't this happening? Well, the belief, the true desire, I talk about double binds. We have a desire, but then there's the true desire. And until that desire becomes the true desire, it won't happen. So if you have a true desire that can get as basic as staying alive, right? Like in our subconscious, our brain, and our body tries to keep us safe. And so anything that potentially would put us in a space that we don't know, that's scary. And our brain's like, no, don't go forward. Don't do this, because there's a deeper desire. I'll give you an example. When I first left corporate, when I first left my W-2 job, it took a while for me to do that, because my desire was I wanted to step into this business full time, but a deeper desire was the security of a paycheck. That's what I mean about the desire and the understanding that, because once you have that, you can make the decision, and then you don't even question, because you're tapped into spirit. And it allows you to move forward with confidence. It allows you then to attract what you want, because then you're also taking the inspired action so that when the opportunity arises, it's there. So I know I just dropped a bunch of things, but please go out, no pressure, sign up and talk to me for 30 minutes and let's get you really clear. I love doing that and helping people kind of move forward in that realm of knowing what they want and feeling like it's really in alignment, it's congruent with who they are, and they can step forward in faith with inspired action. So with that, folks, it's a wrap. Have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks so much for listening. The song Ride is co-written and sung by Miss Jackie Wilson and her collaborators Tyler Banks, David DJ Lee, and Chris Renee. And a huge shout out to them for allowing us to use this perfect song. Everyone have a fabulous week, and I'll talk to you next week.
Find your own kind of happy.